Let me ask you a question. Who is able to rent their own apartment, vote, get married without the consent of a parent, own a credit card, be sued, and join the military? If you answered who is an 18-year-old, then you are correct. The age of majority in the United States is 18, and that is the age where an individual is considered an adult. However, individuals under the age of 18 are sent into adult prisons at an alarming rate. While it is clear that those who write legislation agree that until the age of 18, individuals are not mature enough to make important decisions such as who should be the next president or if they should join the military, they are old enough to be sent into adult prisons. Between 1990 and 2010, the number of juveniles in adult jails went up nearly 230%. Furthermore, juveniles who are charged as adults are nearly 35% more likely to be rearrested than those tried as juveniles. While states vary greatly on when they send juveniles to adult court, it usually occurs between the ages of 12 to 16. According to Levick, the U.S. Supreme Court has repeatedly acknowledged that children must be treated differently in our courts, recognizing the developmental immaturity, reduced impulse control, reduced ability to understand long-term consequences, and thus reduced culpability youth who are charged even with the most serious of crimes. What does justice for the child look like? Levick puts it like this. There is no other instance where children magically become adults because of their behavior. Indeed, we steadfastly and rightly resist any calls to lower the age at which children can take on adult responsibilities such as driving, buying alcohol, buying cigarettes, or serving on juries. We don't make individual exceptions to these legislative prohibitions simply because a child can momentarily behave like an adult. Why? Because we don't believe that these children have the capacity to consistently act responsibly or to make decisions that could permanently affect their lives. Now, what can we do to rectify this situation? I'm sure there are many things, but let me introduce you to a well-known treaty called the Convention on the Rights of the Child, or the CRC. The CRC is a human rights treaty which sets out the civil, political, economic, social, health, and cultural rights of children. It should sound more familiar. I think as though almost every member of the United Nations has ratified it. By almost, I mean every single member of the United Nations except for the United States. And one of the main reasons why we have not ratified it has to do with all of the aforementioned. Meta suggests that the most obvious arena in which the United States denies their children their human rights and their childhood is the criminal justice system, which American children encounter far too early and with devastating consequences. Meta is correct. According to the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention, the proportion of jail inmates younger than 18 who were held as adults has ranged between 70% and 91% between the years of 1993 and 2014. In the year 2014, there were approximately 4,200 juveniles held in U.S. adult jails and prisons. Many of the rights children are afforded through the CRC are limited or taken away once they enter an adult jail or prison. Some of the rights taken away are the right to a clean and safe environment with nutritious food, which is covered in Article 24, the right to a quality education, which is covered in Article 28, the right to play and rest, which is covered in Article 31, freedom from cruel and harmful punishment, which is covered in Article 37, and the right to legal help and fair treatment in the justice system, which is covered in Article 40. Our children deserve better, and while they should be held accountable for their actions, they should not be treated like adults when they are not seen to have the capacity to act responsibly enough to be considered one. Leahy states, these children lose more than their freedom when they enter an adult prison. They lose out on the educational and psychological benefits offered by juvenile detention facilities. They are also more likely to suffer sexual abuse and violence at the hands of other inmates and prison staff. It is time for the United States to get serious about the welfare of the children in this country. By ratifying the CRC, which is legally binding, by the way, they will be taking a huge step in the right direction in terms of battling the amount of juveniles currently being held in adult prison facilities and those being charged with adult crimes.